Welcome back to our channel, my dear friends. Before we begin, I want you to do something. Look at these 5 words. Apple, train, candle, tiger, key. Read them once. Now forget about them. Do not write them down. Do not go back and read them again. At the end of this video, I will ask you to remember all 5. Today, we are not going to simply talk about memory. We are going to train it together. You will learn 6 simple brain exercises that you can actually practice while watching this video. No complicated science, no boring rules, and no long list of things you need to memorize. We will play with words, pictures, stories, numbers, places, and even your own daily life. And here's the interesting part. You may discover that your memory is better than you think. Sometimes the problem is not that your brain cannot remember. The problem is that we never give it a good reason to remember. So today, keep your brain active. Listen carefully. Try every exercise with me. And stay until the end, because those 5 words from the beginning are coming back. Ready? Exercise 1. The crazy picture game. Let's start with a memory test. I am going to give you 5 simple things. Banana, car, dog, shoes, moon. Take a few seconds. Can you remember them? You could repeat them again and again. Banana, car, dog, shoes, moon. That may work for a short time, but let's make your brain do something more interesting. Close your eyes for a moment if you are somewhere safe and imagine this. A giant yellow banana is driving a red car. Inside the car, there is a dog. But this is not a normal dog. The dog is wearing bright green shoes. The car suddenly starts flying into the sky. And where does it go? Straight to the moon. Now open your eyes. What were our 5 things? Think. Banana, car, dog, shoes, moon. Much easier, right? Why? Because instead of trying to remember 5 separate words, you turn them into one crazy picture. Your brain often remembers unusual pictures and stories better than boring information. So here is your first brain exercise. Turn information into pictures. Whenever you want to remember something, try to see it inside your mind. Do not only hear the word, create a picture. Let's practice. Imagine you need to remember these 3 things from the supermarket. Milk, tomatoes, soap. You could repeat, milk, tomatoes, soap. But let's make it strange. Imagine opening your front door and seeing a huge bottle of milk standing outside. The bottle opens, and hundreds of tomatoes come flying out. The tomatoes roll across the floor and fall into a giant bar of soap. Now ask yourself, what did you need? Milk, tomatoes, soap. The stranger the picture, the easier it can be to remember. Let's make the exercise harder. Here are 5 new words. Book, elephant, pizza, sunglasses, bicycle. Do not write them down. Instead, build a picture with me. Imagine opening a giant book. An elephant jumps out of the book. The elephant is eating a huge pizza. But wait. The elephant is also wearing sunglasses. Then it gets onto a bicycle and rides away. Now stop. Without looking back, try to remember the 5 things. What was first? A book. What came out of it? An elephant. What was it eating? Pizza. What was it wearing? Sunglasses. And what did it ride? A bicycle. Excellent. You've just used your imagination as a memory tool. And you can use this technique for more than shopping lists. Suppose you meet someone named Rose. You often forget people's names. When they say, "Hi, I'm Rose," imagine a beautiful red rose sitting on their shoulder. You do not need to tell them you are imagining this. Just create the picture in your mind. Later, when you see the person again, That picture may help you remember. Rose. You can also use pictures while studying. Suppose you are learning the English word enormous, which means very big. Do not only repeat the meaning. Imagine an enormous elephant trying to enter your bedroom. The elephant is so big that it breaks the door. Now the word has a picture, and the picture gives your brain something interesting to remember. But there is one rule. Do not make your mental pictures boring. If you want to remember dog, imagining a normal dog sitting quietly may not be very memorable. Instead, imagine a dog wearing a suit and dancing in a supermarket. Make it huge, make it funny, make it colorful, make it strange. Your imagination does not have to make sense. It only needs to help you remember. Now I want to test you. Earlier, I gave you 5 words: banana, car, dog, shoes, moon. Without looking back, can you still remember them? If you can, your crazy picture did its job. And here is something important. Do not only watch me do this exercise, practice it yourself. During your day, choose 5 random objects. Maybe phone, cup, chair, pen, door. Then close your eyes and connect them in one strange picture. A giant phone jumps into a cup. The cup sits on a chair. The chair starts writing with a pen. Then the pen opens the door and runs away. Later, test yourself. Can you remember all 5? Do this for just a few minutes regularly. You are teaching your brain to take ordinary information and make it more memorable. So your first memory exercise is simple. See it. Make it strange. Connect it. Remember it. And keep your brain ready. Because in the next exercise, we are going to stop using crazy pictures and test your memory in a completely different way. And before we start exercise 2, please like this video because your one like gives me motivation to create more helpful videos for you. Exercise 2. Walk through your memory house. For this exercise, I want you to go somewhere without moving from your chair. Go to your home. Not your real home. The home inside your mind. Think about your front door. Can you see it? Now imagine opening it. What do you see first? Maybe a sofa, a table, a television, a staircase, a window. You probably did not study these things before watching this video, but you can remember where they are because you have seen them so many times. Today, we are going to use those familiar places to remember new information. Let's try it together. Imagine you need to remember these 6 things: eggs, coffee, phone charger, medicine, notebook, umbrella. Do not repeat the list. Instead, put every item somewhere inside your home. Start at your front door. Imagine there are giant eggs blocking the door. You carefully step over them and enter. On your sofa, someone has spilled a huge cup of coffee. You walk toward the television. A very long phone charger is wrapped around it. Then you look at the table. There is a giant bottle of medicine sitting in the middle. You walk toward your bed. Your pillow has disappeared. Instead, your head is resting on a notebook. Finally, you look at the window. An open umbrella is hanging there. Stop for a moment. Now mentally walk through your home again. Front door, eggs, sofa, coffee, television, phone charger, table, medicine, bed, notebook, window, umbrella. You have just created a simple version of a powerful memory technique often called a memory palace. But forget the complicated name. Think of it as put information somewhere you already know. Your brain is very good at remembering places. You know where your kitchen is. You know where your bed is. You know where the bathroom is. You probably know how to walk through your home in the dark. So instead of asking your brain to hold 6 pieces of information with no connection, you give each one an address. Let's make this more useful. Imagine tomorrow is a busy day. You need to call your friend, pay a bill, buy vegetables, send an email, go to the gym. Instead of trying to keep everything floating around in your head, create a mental walk. At your front door, imagine your friend calling your name. On your sofa, imagine a huge bill covering the whole seat. In your kitchen, imagine vegetables falling from the ceiling. On your bed, imagine a giant email envelope. Near the exit, imagine your gym shoes jumping up and down. Later, mentally walk through those places. Each place reminds you of the next task. You can also use this exercise for learning. Suppose you want to remember 5 new English words. Place the first word at your door, the second on your sofa, the third in your kitchen, the fourth on your bed, the fifth in your bathroom. But do not simply place the written word there. Create an action. If the word is exhausted, imagine someone falling asleep on your sofa because they're extremely tired. If the word is delicious, imagine the most delicious food you can think of covering your kitchen table. If the word is tiny, imagine a tiny elephant walking across your bed. The place helps you find the information. The picture helps you remember what it means. Now here comes your challenge. Without looking back, remember the 6 things we placed inside the first house. Walk through it slowly. What was at the front door? What was on the sofa? What was around the television? What was on a table? What replaced your pillow? What was hanging near the window? If you remembered most of them, excellent. If you forgot some, that is also useful. Go through the mental journey again and make the pictures stronger. This exercise becomes more powerful when you use a place you know extremely well. Your home, your office, your gym, your school, even the road you regularly walk. Choose 5 clear locations and always move through them in the same order. Then place information there. It can feel strange at first, but that is exactly what makes this exercise interesting. You are not sitting there saying, "Remember, remember, remember." You are giving your brain a journey. And information becomes easier to find when you know where you left it. Before we finish, one final test. Do you remember our original 6 items? Eggs, coffee, phone charger, medicine, notebook, umbrella. If those 6 objects suddenly appeared in your mind as different parts of a house, this exercise is already working. And in the next exercise, we are going to leave the house completely. Because sometimes, the best way to remember something is not to create a picture at all. It is to force your brain to find the answer before you see it again. Exercise 3. The 10-second recall challenge. This time, no strange pictures, no memory house. We are going to play a different game. I will give you some information. Then I will take your attention away from it. After that, you have to bring the information back without looking at the answer. Ready? Read these 4 words once. River, glass, jacket, lemon. Now stop thinking about them. For the next 10 seconds, think about your breakfast today. What did you eat? What did you drink? Where were you sitting? Good. Now come back. What were the 4 words? Do not look up. Try to pull them from your memory. River, glass, jacket, lemon. How many did you remember? 4, 3, 2? Whatever your answer is, you've just practiced something very important. Recall. Most people practice memory in a very different way. They read something, then they read it again, then again, and again. Because the information looks familiar, they think, yes, I know this. But close the book and suddenly, nothing. The information disappears. Here is a simple example. Imagine you are learning this English sentence. I would rather stay home tonight. You read it 5 times. It feels easy, but instead of reading it for the 6th time, cover it. Wait a few seconds, then ask yourself, what was the sentence? Try to say it. Maybe you say, I'd rather stay home tonight. Not perfect. That is okay. Look at the sentence again. Notice what you missed. I would rather stay home tonight. Cover it again. Try once more. This time, your brain has to work, and that work is the exercise. Think about going to the gym. If someone lifts the weight for you while you watch, whose muscles are working? Theirs, not yours. Memory can be similar. If the answer is always in front of you, your brain does not have to search very hard for it. But when you hide the answer and try to remember it yourself, your brain has a job to do. So let's train again. I am going to give you a small story. Listen carefully. Sam left home at 8 in the morning. He bought a blue bag from a small shop. Then he met his friend near a coffee shop. That is all. Now do not go back. Answer these questions from memory. What time did Sam leave home? What color was the bag? Where did he meet his friend? Think before you continue. The answers are 8 in the morning. Blue, near a coffee shop. Did you get all 3? Let's make it slightly harder. Listen to this. Maya has a cat named Coco. Every Sunday morning, she takes Coco into the garden. She sits under a tree and reads for 30 minutes. Now I'm going to distract you. Think of 3 things you can see around you right now. Name them in your mind. Done? Okay. Tell me, what was the cat's name? Which day did Maya go into the garden? Where did she sit? How long did she read? The answers. Coco, Sunday, under a tree, 30 minutes. Notice what is happening. You are not trying to memorize every sentence exactly. You are training yourself to find important information after it has disappeared from your eyes. You can turn this into a simple daily brain exercise. After watching a short video, stop and ask, what were the 3 main things I just learned? After reading 1 page of a book, close it and explain what you remember. After having a conversation with someone, later try to remember, what did they tell me? Where were they going? What important detail did they mention? You can even practice at the end of your day. Before sleeping, do not immediately check your phone or photos. Try to remember your day from morning to night. What did you eat first? Who did you speak to? What work did you complete? Where did you go? What made you laugh? What was one small thing you almost forgot? Try to rebuild the day inside your mind. That makes memory practice feel connected to real life. And here is a fun challenge you can start today. Whenever you make a short shopping list, look at it carefully for 30 seconds. Then put it away. At the shop, try to remember the items before checking the list. But keep the list with you so you do not actually forget something important. First, test your brain, then check your answer. That checking part matters because it shows you what you remembered correctly and what you missed. Now, before we finish, I have one last challenge. Do you remember the 4 words from the very beginning of this exercise? Do not scroll up. Think. The first was something in nature. The second was something you might drink from. The third was something you wear. The fourth was a fruit. Got them? River, glass, jacket, lemon. That is the 10-second recall challenge. Learn something. Look away. Wait. Then make your brain bring it back. Exercise 4. Break it into small pieces. Let's begin with a challenge. Look at this number. 583194726. Now look away. Can you remember it? Maybe, but it probably feels difficult. Now look at the same number like this. 583194726. Suddenly it feels a little easier. The number did not become shorter. Your brain simply stopped seeing 9 separate numbers. Instead, it saw 3 small groups. This memory exercise is called chunking. The idea is very simple. When something feels too big to remember, break it into smaller pieces. Your brain already does this more than you realize. Think about phone numbers. You probably do not remember a phone number as 10 completely separate numbers. You naturally divide it into smaller groups. You can do the same thing with words, information, names, dates, and even things you need to do. Let's try a word challenge. Imagine you need to remember apple, banana, dog, tiger, milk, cat, orange, cheese, lion. 9 words. Instead of trying to remember them in that random order, organize them. First group, fruits, apple, banana, orange. Second group, animals, dog, cat, tiger, lion. Third group, food, milk, cheese. Now your brain is not dealing with one messy list. It has a simple structure, fruits, animals, food, and each group helps you find the words inside it. Let's use this with English learning. Imagine you learn 12 new English words this week. Do not keep all 12 words in one long list. Create groups, words about feelings, happy, nervous, excited, worried. Words about movement, walk, run, jump, climb. Words about communication, ask, explain, answer, reply. When your brain knows the category, it has a clue. It knows where to search. Here's another example. Imagine someone gives you these instructions. Go upstairs. Get my black bag. Bring my phone charger. Take the blue notebook from the table. Turn off the bedroom light. Close the window and bring me a glass of water. That is a lot to hold in your head at once. So divide it. Upstairs. Bag, charger, notebook. Before leaving, light, window. Downstairs, water. 3 groups, much easier. Now let's play a quick game. I will give you 10 things. Your job is not to memorize them immediately. Your job is to find the groups. Ready? Bus, strawberry, shirt, train, mango, jacket, bicycle, grapes, shoes, car. What groups can you see? Think for a moment. You could organize them like this. Transport, bus, train, bicycle, car. Fruit, strawberry, mango, grapes. Clothes, shirt, jacket, shoes. Now look away from the list. Can you remember the transport? Bus, train, bicycle, car. What about the fruits? Strawberry, mango, grapes. And the clothes, shirt, jacket, shoes. You did not need to fight with 10 random words. You gave them order. That is the real power of this exercise. Sometimes your memory problem is actually an organization problem. The information enters your mind in a messy way, so finding it later becomes difficult. Organize it before you try to remember it. You can even use chunking when you are preparing to speak. Suppose you need to give a short presentation. Instead of memorizing every sentence, divide your talk into 4 parts. Problem, example, solution, conclusion. Now you only need to remember 4 main ideas. Once you remember the idea, your own words can follow. This is especially useful if memorizing every sentence makes you nervous. You can also use this when remembering someone's introduction. Imagine someone tells you, "My name is David. I live in London. I work as a designer. I love football and photography." Do not try to hold one long sentence. Break it into name, David, place, London, work, designer, interests, football and photography. Simple. organized, easy to find later. Now here's your daily exercise. Choose something with 8 to 12 pieces of information. It could be words you are learning, things you need to buy, tasks you need to complete, or points from something you are studying. Give yourself 1 minute. Do not start memorizing immediately. First ask, how can I organize this? Can you make 2 groups, 3, 4? Then try to remember the groups first and the details second. Your brain does not always need more effort. Sometimes it needs better organization. And before we move on, one final test. Without looking back, what were our 3 groups in the 10-word challenge? Transport, fruit, clothes. And how many items can you remember from each group? Try it. You may be surprised by how much is still there. So exercise 4 is, do not fight with one long list. Break it. Group it. Make it smaller. Exercise 5. Play the detective game. For this exercise, I want you to become a detective. Not a real detective, a memory detective. Here is the challenge. The next time you enter a room, give yourself only 10 seconds to look around. Do not take a photo. Do not write anything down. Just look carefully. Notice the small details. Then leave the room or close your eyes. Now ask yourself, how many chairs were there? What was on the table? What color was the bag? Was the door open or closed? Where was the bottle? Suddenly, an ordinary room becomes a memory game. Let's try a version of it right now. Look around the place where you are watching this video. I will give you 10 seconds. Look carefully. Ready? Look for something red, something made of metal, something with writing on it, something small, and something you can wear. Take 10 seconds. Now stop looking around. Keep your eyes on the screen. Can you remember all 5? What was red? What was made of metal? What had writing on it? What was small? What could you wear? You may have noticed something interesting. When I told you what to look for, you probably started paying much more attention. That is important because sometimes we say, I forgot. But the real problem started earlier. We never paid enough attention in the first place. Think about meeting a new person. They say, hi, my name is Michael. 2 minutes later, you think, what was his name? Maybe your memory is not the only problem. When Michael told you his name, perhaps you were already thinking, what should I say next? Do I look nervous? Where should I stand? You heard the name, but you did not really give it your attention. So exercise 5 is about training your brain to notice details. Let's make it more fun. The next time you go outside, choose one place. A cafe, a shop, a park, your gym, your office. Spend 30 seconds looking around carefully. Then continue with your day. 5 minutes later, test yourself. How many people were near you? What colors did you notice? What was playing on the television? Was there music? What was written on the sign? What was someone wearing? Do not worry about remembering everything. This is a game. Your goal is simply to become better at noticing. Here is another version. Take an object you use every day. Maybe your watch, your phone, your shoes, or your wallet. Put it away. Now describe it from memory. Where's the logo? How many buttons does it have? What shape is it? What does the back look like? Are there any words written on it? Then take the object out and check. You may be surprised. You have probably seen that object hundreds of times, but there may be details you never noticed. That teaches us something interesting. Seeing something is not the same as paying attention to it. Let's do another quick challenge. Think about the door of your bedroom. Do not look at it. Which side is the handle on? What color is the handle? Is there anything hanging on the door? Does it open toward you or away from you? You see that door almost every day. But can you answer every question? Maybe yes, maybe not. Either way, your brain is working right now. You are searching through a mental picture. And that is exactly what we want. You can also turn your daily walk into this game. Choose 1 minute during your walk and become completely alert. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 colors around you, 2 people or objects moving, and 1 detail you have never noticed before. Later, try to remember them. This makes the exercise more interesting because you are not sitting at a table trying to memorize a list. Real life becomes your memory practice. You can even play this with a friend. Put 10 objects on a table. Look at them for 20 seconds. Turn around. Your friend removes 1 object. Turn back. What disappeared? Then make it harder. Remove 2 objects. Change the position of something. Add something new. Your job is to notice the change. It feels like a game, but it forces you to observe carefully and then compare what you see with what you remember. Try this exercise for a few minutes each day. You do not need special equipment. You do not need an app. You only need to stop moving through life on automatic mode for a moment and actually notice what is around you. So your 5th brain exercise is: look carefully, notice the details, look away. Then test yourself. Become curious about ordinary things. Turn your room into a challenge. Turn your walk into a challenge. Turn your day into a challenge. And get ready for exercise 6. For our final exercise, I am going to test something completely different. Can you teach your brain to remember information for longer, not just for the next 10 seconds? Exercise 6. The Memory Time Travel Challenge.q. For our final exercise, we are going to do something different. We are going to test your memory across time. Most people learn something and think, I understand it, so I will remember it. But understanding something right now does not mean you will remember it tomorrow. So here is your final brain game. I am going to give you this sentence. The small yellow bird waited beside the old wooden bridge. Read it once. Good. Now do not repeat it 20 times. Leave it alone. We are coming back to it later. That is the exercise. Instead of learning something once and forgetting about it, you try to remember it again after some time has passed. For example, imagine you learned 5 new English words this morning. You practice them. Then you close your notebook. A little later, ask yourself, what were those 5 words? Do not immediately open the notebook. Try first, then check. Later that evening, test yourself again. The next day, try again. A few days later, come back once more. Each time you are asking your brain, 5. 5/6 VVV, can you still find this information? Let's make this practical. Imagine today you learn. Confident, nervous, improve, patient, achieve. Instead of reading those words 20 times in one sitting, spread your practice across your day. In the morning, learn them. Later, try to remember all 5 without looking. At night, make 1 sentence with each word. Tomorrow, test yourself again. After a few days, return to them. The goal is not to keep the information in front of your eyes. The goal is to see whether your brain can bring it back after a gap. You can turn this into a simple challenge. Call it the 10-minute, 1-day, 1-week challenge. Learn something today. Test yourself 10 minutes later. Test yourself tomorrow. Then test yourself again about a week later. You can use this with names, new words, important facts, a speech, study material, or anything useful that you want to remember. And here's where it becomes interesting. Do not only ask, do I recognize this? Ask, can I explain it without looking? Suppose you watched a useful video about communication. Tomorrow, before watching it again, try to explain 3 ideas you learned. Maybe you cannot remember all 3. That is okay. Check what you missed. Then test yourself again later. This makes learning active. You are no longer simply putting information into your brain. You are checking whether you can bring it back when you need it. Now let's return to our sentence. I gave you one earlier. Do you remember it? Do not look back. Try to rebuild it. There was something small. A color. An animal. A place. Think. The sentence was, the small yellow bird waited beside the old wooden bridge. How close were you? Maybe you remembered every word. Maybe you only remembered yellow bird, wooden bridge. That is still useful. Now here comes the bigger surprise. At the very beginning of this entire video, before exercise 1, I gave you 5 words. I told you not to write them down. We have done 6 different exercises since then. Can you still remember them? Take your time. The first was a fruit. The second was something that travels on tracks. The third gives light. The fourth was a wild animal. And the fifth can open something. Got them? Apple, train, candle, tiger, key. How many did you remember? 5, 4, 3. Even if you remembered only 2, notice something important. Those words stayed somewhere in your memory while your brain was busy doing many other things. And when I gave you a few clues, some of them may have returned. That is exactly why memory training can be so interesting. You start noticing how your own brain remembers. Some things need pictures, some need organization, some need careful attention, some need you to test yourself, and some need you to return to them later. So here is your final challenge. Choose one useful thing today that you really want to remember. Maybe 5 English words. Maybe someone's name. Maybe a short paragraph. Maybe an important idea from this video. Learn it. Then walk away. Come back later and test yourself. Try again tomorrow, and return to it again after a few days. Do not ask your brain only to learn. Ask it to remember. That is exercise 6. Learn it. Leave it. Return to it. Recall it. And after these 6 exercises, you do not need to spend hours doing special memory training. Turn it into a game. Use your imagination. Use familiar places. Test yourself. Organize information. Notice the world around you. And return to important information over time. Your brain does not need every exercise every day. Pick one. Practice it. Then try another. Make memory training something you do, not just something you watch. So, my dear friends, your brain workout is complete. Today, you did not just listen. You imagined, observed, organized, recalled, and tested yourself. Now choose one of these 6 exercises and try it today. Even a few minutes can turn memory practice into an interesting daily habit. And tell us in the comments, how many of the 5 words from the beginning did you remember? If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Keep learning, keep challenging your brain, and I'll see you in the next video.